thank you very much, and thank you all of you for coming here today. What a beautiful place it is here. And Mira, I love your place here, Overnight Success Studios, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You won't really be an overnight success. He can make you look like one, but in reality, it takes a lot more for you to be successful. I'm going to take just a couple of minutes and tell you a little bit about my company. It's not really what I'm here to talk to you about today, but I own Integrated Security Consultants. We started in 2008. And we provide electronic security services. We do cameras, access control, fire alarms, burglar alarms, intercoms, and things like that for our customers, mostly commercial customers. We don't do a lot of residential. And just want to show you just a few of the customers that we do work for. One of our biggest accounts right now with Coca-Cola Beverages of Florida. They have about 5,000 employees statewide, or about 20-some locations, and we do other security for them. They keep us pretty busy. On any given day, we have techs from Jacksonville to Key West to Orlando, Sarasota, Fort Myers. I never even know where they are every day. We have a system that keeps them going. As Hope Mission, we've done 3 NFL Super Bowls for the NFL. We did one of the ones in Tampa, the one in Miami, Indianapolis, and we're claiming the next one in Tampa too. We'll do some work with them. When the RNC was here in 2012, we installed the citywide camera system for the RNC that's still in place in downtown Tampa. So when you go down there, make sure you behave when you're walking down the street. If they want to watch you, they can. One of the largest installations that I know of in Tampa in one building for Pasco County Sheriff's Office, we did 382 cameras in one building. You know, I can't tell you what building it is, but just be careful when you go in the sheriff's office. They're watching you also. And we did a thing at Walt Disney World a few years ago. They need a custom solution for 2,000 doors. I just say that to say, you know, those are just some of the recognizable names everybody knows: Coca-Cola, Walt Disney World, the NFL, and we're glad to have them in our portfolio as customers. But this doesn't happen, as I mentioned, overnight. And that's why today a little topic I've talked about before. I call it from mom and pop to the top. And I just want to talk to you today just for a few moments, lessons I've learned to how to get from where you are to where you want to be. I mean, hopefully no matter where you are in your life, in your business and everything, you're not satisfied with where you are. And I think you have to have goals to get to where you want to be. As a matter of fact, people sometimes think it's crazy that I started my business in April of 2008 and I got my first contract with the NFL in August of 2008. You know, because a lot of they just think small. They wouldn't even went for it. Matter of fact, I didn't have enough employees to do the job. I went to a friend of mine and said, can I borrow 3 of your employees? They got to wear my company shirts. So I got to make it look like they work for me. And I only had 2 employees at the time. And I had to borrow employees in my company shirt to show up and do the job to look like I had a real company. But it's all in how you present yourself and your goals. I mean, a lot of security companies that started like me, I'm not, trying to say it in 4 months, they're trying to do convenience stores. They're trying to do someone's home. They're not even thinking, I'm 4 months old, I'm going to go after the Super Bowl. But you just never know. You just got to try. So I'm a big believer in having goals and where you want to be and how you're going to get to the top. So I'm just going to talk about a few things that I think are important. First is be principled. One thing I'm a very big believer in is be principled. You've got to have values in your company. What's important to you. And what I tell people all the time is this: before you worry about your value, how much money you're going to make, no one stands for your values. What's really important? What gets you up every day? Don't focus on the dollars and the bottom line, but what are your values? And I tell my people all the time, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. And so you got to decide, this is what's important to me. This are the values of my company. And so from the day I started my company, it's called Integrated Security Consultants, and every employee, every customer hears this all the time. We go by the initials ISC. And I tell everybody the I stands for integrity. Everything we do has to have integrity. And I have a simple rule: tell them the truth. We had a situation a couple of years ago where we had a customer had a grand opening. We're doing the fire alarm. In order to open his business, we had to file for a permit. And someone in my office dropped the ball. We didn't file for the permit. And so they come into my office and say, Kenneth, what are we going to do? This customer goes to open. We didn't file for the permit. What are we going to tell them? I said, tell them the truth. They looked at me like, what do you mean tell them the truth? Tell them exactly what happened. I picked up the phone and I called them. And I said, listen, this is there's something about the truth that people just, anything else you tell a lie, it doesn't ring true. Fortunately for us, he had other delays that delayed his grand opening, and so it wasn't as ugly as it could have been. But it's one thing to say you stand for integrity, but when your employees come to you with a tough call and you hedge the truth, But integrity, to me, is the first and most important thing. No matter what it is, stand for the truth and do that. And I always tell, S stands for solutions. We're here to provide solutions. And so when a customer calls me and says, I want a 16 camera system, I don't show up and drop off a box of equipment. I want to know what your problem is, and I'm here to provide you a solution. You know, that's actually how we got him on Walt Disney, where I had a meeting with the vice president of purchasing. He told me up front, he said, Kenneth, I do business with companies I can do Orlando, Los Angeles, and Tokyo. I want to make one call. Well, it's kind of hard for me as a small business in Tampa to go to Japan and put in a camera for them. But I kept in touch with them. And then one day he called me. He says, you know what? I've got a small project, and the big boys won't touch it. You know, and he couldn't get anyone else, the bigger international companies, it was too small for them. So we gave him a solution, and that's where it started. And most of our opportunities have come from a small thing we did, provided a solution. It's not about the equipment, it's not about what we sell, it's about a solution. And last is customer service. We live in a world where customer service is not valued. My people know that we are going to do what's right no matter what it costs. A few years ago, it was almost kind of funny. We were running a special. We do, big business. We do small business. We were doing a 4-camera special back when systems were limited the number of cameras. And the convenience store owner, she ordered the 4-camera special. Put the cameras in. She wasn't happy. So I went down to meet with her. I said, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to double your NVR from a 4-camera system to an 8-camera system. I'm going to put in 2 free cameras for you just to make you happy. She still wasn't happy. And I said, listen, there's nothing else. You said you were upset these 2 hours. I'm covering the 2 hours. And then I'm standing there with her. She goes, I'm going to call your office. And I was like, really? She said, yeah. So she calls the office secretary, answered the phone, gave her name. She said, isn't Kenneth there? And she said, yeah, well, that's it. Nobody else. I guess she didn't. I said, I'm the owner. I'm standing in front of you. After that, she was happy, I guess. She just want to see what else she could get. But my people know customer service. Do what's right. Even if we lose money in the short term, we'll make it back up. And we want to take care of our customers. And our mission is we protect people, profits, and property. That's what everything we do. We protect people, profits, and property, and provide peace of mind and control. That's my elevator speech. When I get somebody says, what do you do? I don't say security. I say I protect people, I protect profits, I protect property. How do you do that? Then I tell them how I do it, but that gets their attention. So, we're not here to sell cameras, sell alarms, sell things. We're going to protect your people, protect your profits, and protect your property. I hope that if someone came to my company, if it was a person, and cut it open all the way down to the core, that when they got to the core of my business, they didn't see cables and cameras. They saw integrity, solutions, and customer service. That's what I hope my value, the heart of my company is, integrity, solutions, and that's what we are, not what we install. So, but if you don't have principles, if you don't have values, then it's hard to make it through the tough times. It's hard to know what you're going to do when things happen. But when you have principles and values of what's important to you, then that keeps your business flowing in the right direction. So first, you got to be principled. Secondly, I say be passionate. There's just something about passion. We have college hunks moving junk on here. When I told them, everybody I met from that company is passionate. They're just moving stuff. What's exciting or sexy about moving furniture? But they're passionate. One of my favorite local businesses is the Ice Dream Shop in Lutz. It's just ice cream. But man, they're like, I guess they're high on sugar. I don't know what it is. But you meet the owner and they've taken what should just be a cup of ice cream to something they're passionate about. That's what I tell people all the time. A successful entrepreneur does not do something, they are something. So whether it's ice cream, whether it's moving junk, whether it's security cameras, be passionate about what you do. You have to be passionate about it. When you have a choice to start a business, hopefully you pick something you can be passionate about. That's why you're a business owner. Now, if you work somewhere, it might be harder for you to be passionate about because you didn't pick it. But be passionate about what you do. And the reason why passion draws people. Customers and employees are drawn to passion. When people meet people in my company, it's almost funny because everybody in my company is related to somebody. And even my wife asked me one time, why has everybody got a brother or uncle or a cousin that works for you? Well, that's a compliment to me because you don't bring your family to work if you hate where you work. So when people recommend a family member, I know they're telling me that's a good person and this is a good company. And so I look at it as a compliment. And customers are drawn to passion. That's why we love the ice cream shop. We can get ice cream somewhere else, but when you're passionate about what you do, it draws people. It's something just about passion. People can sense your passion. Passion requires belief from you first. Before your customers can believe in what you do, before your employees, you got to believe in what you do. So if you, as the principal, the manager, the owner of the company, if you don't have passion, nobody's going to have passion. So you have to bring that passion. And it's hard sometimes. You're paying bills, you're short on payroll, you're dealing with complaints, and it's hard sometimes. But if you really have that passion inside of you, that passion it will push you forward. We all have tough days and hard days, but if you're passionate about what you do, that's what gets you up and sends you to work every day. So find out what you can be passionate about what you do, and that's what's going to make a difference. And then what passion becomes part of your culture. And that's what makes your company become a passion, your employees. People want to be a part of what you're doing because there's passion involved. When there's no passion involved, then nobody can be excited about what you do. So after you've been principled, you're passionate, be professional. Now this is what I think a lot of small businesses miss it from the day they start. One of my, I always say dress for success. Give you an example. I worked for another company for many years in management. I was required to wear a tie and a jacket to work every day. When I started my business, one of the first things I said was, I'm going to wear what I want to wear. I had a little office next to Sam's Club on 56, and I started going to work, like I was Bill Gates or Silicon Valley, in jeans, my shirts out, and flip-flops. I just didn't wear shoes. I was enjoying it, being relaxed. But in my industry, and your industry may be different, so maybe you can get away. In my industry, the successful companies, they dress, they wear jackets to work every day. And security, they still do it. So then I said, you know what? I didn't have any customers. I started dressing up every day. I did make one, I'm not wearing a tie. I said, I'll wear a jacket to work every day. But guess what? When you start dressing for success, that's why I put yourself first. I would run into people, and they didn't know I got dressed that morning, put on a suit jacket, went to my empty office to cold call customers. I didn't have an appointment, didn't have a customer, but you look like you're going somewhere or you're coming from something. And it began to happen. I'd be just running to people. They thought I had more. That's why I was able to get the NFL, because I came across professional. And so I had to, and sometimes it was almost depressing to dress up for had 0 appointments, but I made it a habit every day. Get dressed, put on a sports coat, and people started treating me differently because they thought I had something going on. I had nothing going on. As a matter of fact, it backfired one time. When I first started, Hart had a contest to where they were going to pick one small business and give them so many billboards in Tampa and put their name on the side of the bus. And the lady running the contest called me and she said, "You won. We picked your name. We're going to use you." And then later I heard somebody else won, so I called back. She said, "My boss changed it." And I called her up because I knew her too. I said, "I heard I won." "Well, you don't need the help." I said, "What do you mean I don't need the help? Everybody needs the help." Well, she thought I had more than what I had, so it did backfire one time, but it's worked more than it's hurt me, so I'm not complaining. But your presentation material, put it together. One good thing about the modern economy, you can make yourself look bigger than what you are. And like I put your email address. When I meet a small business owner that has an email address as Hotmail or Gmail, I just throw the card away. I'm just being frank with you. You're not even serious. For $10 a year, you can have an email address that could be kstewart@whatever.com. You don't even have to have a website yet. And I'm just like, you're just thinking small, because when you have a Gmail or Hotmail email address, you're telling everybody, hey, I'm just a hobby. I'm just working out of my house. I don't got much going on. I'm not worth $10 a year to get a professional email address. You need a website too. But I'm just saying, but from day one, put your material, your brochures, everything that you do, be professional. Look like you're going somewhere. Look like you have something going on. Your website, it's worth spending a little money to get a professional website and have that. That's because, most businesses don't have to have a storefront. And so your website can be your store, unless you have a retail shop people have to commit to. Spend the money, make it look good. Your employees, put them in uniforms, just have that look. Invest if you don't have the capabilities to make a logo or have somebody that can do it for you. And then the last time, put your storefront if needed. Don't spend a lot of money. Most businesses today don't have to have a storefront. Unless it's a retail business, most times you're going out to see people, you're shipping stuff to people. But dress for success. Yourself first, your brochures, your cards, your email address, your website, your employees. Just think big. Just imagine. How would you want to look if the NFL was your customer? Didn't look like it now. Don't wait until they're your customer. Make sure you have the look as a company that has a customer like that, no matter what size you are. After you're a professional, you got to start being prepared. And see, this is where a lot of small business owners get hurt because they're not getting prepared for what they're trying to go. I have a thing I tell them all the time, make sure your dog has a driver's license. And you say, what does that mean? Well, I'll show you what that means. See that dog chasing the car? That's you chasing business. Get up every day running like that dog, your tongue hanging out, tail wagging, getting up trying to get business. But what if the guy got out of the car and handed the dog the keys? Okay, you want the car? Here, have it. What's the dog gonna do? I don't know, it's gonna get confused, like, wait a minute, I was just chasing the car. I didn't mean I was gonna catch it. And that's the way what happens to us sometimes in small business. My question to you is, what's your plan when someone hands you the car keys? Okay, you're chasing that contract. You're chasing that dream. As she mentioned, November 12th, you say, man, the NFL has an event. I'm going to go. Well, what if they hand you, what if they stop the car and say, okay, here are the keys? What are you going to do? Do you have a plan? And that's where a lot of businesses miss it because the only thing worse than no business is too much business. I'll give you an example. When I started my business, we did almost 100% of our business was subcontracting out to the big companies, and I'm not going to say their name, I'm not giving them a plug, and doing like houses, small business. In 2012, we got the RNC contract. That was a 6-month contract, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, 100% of my employees. It was a very good contract for us. Well, when that contract ended, it gave us some national recognition. We had on national magazines. We had customers calling us. So I said, I'm not going back to subcontracting. Well, unfortunately, when I was a subcontractor, I didn't have to have any inventory. I didn't have to have internal control, a lot of stuff. So I went from being a company doing total subcontracting with no inventory to overnight now being a company that was doing their own jobs. And I had no systems. And it almost killed us. It almost drowned us because I didn't have internal controls. I didn't have a purchasing manager. A lot of stuff that happened. And so even though it was a good time for our company, as hard as it is to have no business, too much business sometimes can be just as bad if you're not ready for it. Because you only get one chance to make a first impression on a customer or a contract. And when you drop the ball that first time, they won't tell you why, but they're not coming back. I always tell people luck is when preparation meets opportunity. That's how you get lucky, because you're prepared. So everything you're trying to do, be prepared. Think about what's my next step. If they stop the car and give me the keys, what am I going to do? Have a plan and be ready to execute that plan. You have to be prepared. The next thing is be precise. I'm a very big believer in being precise. I tell people, don't be Jack. You say, who's Jack? Well, Jack is Jack of all trades, but master of none. Look at him. That's how most small business are. We just I meet people sometimes, what do you do? Well, I'm an event planner that also fixes computers and sells fishing bait. And I'm like, what you're really telling me is you're an event planner that's not making enough money, so you're fixing computers, selling fishing bait to make ends meet. I'd rather be an event planner or go get a job at Walmart at night and until you can be the best event planner you can be. One of the mistakes I made when I first started my business is people asked me, who's your target market? And I said, everybody needs security. Everybody needs that. And I didn't have a target market. And we were floundering because we didn't have any direction. And then we got very intentional about who our customer base was going to be. We didn't have it yet. And so you have to learn, you have to be known for something. There's a reason why Chick-fil-A is so successful. They don't try to sell burgers. They don't try to sell pizza. That's what they do, and that's what they do well. And so you have to decide, I'm going to be precise. And I'm not going to try to be master of it. This is what I do. This is what I do well. That's what I love about books like From Good to Great, which everybody needs to read. It makes you think about what can we be great at? Don't do what we're good at. What can I only do that? Don't do anything else but that. As when you have no business, any business looks good. Any opportunity looks good. But sometimes you can go after the wrong business, or you go over something that doesn't pay you enough, or go up and you wind up wasting time that could have been spent on something more valuable. If you aim at nothing, guess what? You'll hit it every time. Because you're not aiming at, so that's why you're aiming at nothing. You got to take a chance sometimes. Know your targeted customer and what you can do for them. I'll talk more about this in a moment. But like pretty much every customer we have, we targeted that customer. Sometimes they even know they're being targeted. You know, you don't get an opportunity like Coca-Cola. They don't walk up to you, knock on your door and say, hey, you know, you want to sell us some cameras? It takes months of strategy. We've kind of positioned ourselves to go for, and one good thing that's for us as small business that has happened is a lot of companies are decentralizing purchase. And what used to happen in the old days, if you couldn't do business with them in the whole country, they didn't do business with you. But companies now have understood, national companies giving them poor service, high prices. So a lot of major companies now let their local offices make purchasing decisions. It didn't used to be that way, but you can do that now. So you can start targeting your customer, but what can you do for that customer? And start looking at customers that I want to target. And then if you have a target and you miss the target, then you can see why you missed it and adjust your aim. You know, some of the customers that didn't give me any business have been my best referrals because they like my passion, they love my business, they know they can trust us because of our customer base and our reputation, our resume. And they didn't give me the contract, but they recommended me to someone else. And I go back and say, well, why didn't you pick me? And I learn how to adjust my aim for the next time. So, but if you're shooting like a shotgun, shooting everywhere, you don't know what to adjust because you shot in 5 different directions, but which one missed? But when you target, sometimes you get cocky, you know, you have success. This year, I had a major miss. We spent thousands of dollars a month on the target market and wound up with nothing. And I had to walk away with egg on my face and take responsibility. I'm the owner. I called the shots. I put the office in this. I developed the campaign, and we got 0 business out of it. And I had to go back and say, okay, that was ugly. We lost a lot of money from that. Okay, now what do we learn from it, though? You know, I'm going to learn something from it, and it's, you know, there's still some possibilities, lessons that we've learned, but I'm going to adjust my aim for next time. I'm not going to make that same mistake again. But then if you hit it, then learn lessons for your bigger target. Why did you hit the target? What did they like about you? Because your smaller wins can lead to your bigger wins. So, but if you're not precise, if you're not aiming at a specific target, then when you do hit something, you know, you don't know why you hit it. You know, you have to know why you hit it. You know, Hope mentioned about my daughter that's an influencer, and she's been blessed. She's got like Coca-Cola, Budweiser, big name McDonald's have hired her to do it. Every time I ask, well, why did they pick you over the next guy? You need to know why did they pick me, because if I'm going to go after the next, I need to know why they chose me. You know, what appealed to them about me. And as you get to know your customers, you talk to them, it makes you to keep sharpening your aim and going after that. Even for a company our size, a lot of companies, we go after some major targets. And we don't win them all, but we've had some great success because we know what we're aiming at, and we're not aiming at everything. We don't try to do everything that comes across our path. And sometimes, you know, we give up small opportunities for the bigger opportunities that we're trying to get. Have a plan, work your plan, and plan to work. You know, you got to have a plan, and sometimes you have to make adjustments, but have a plan, work your plan, and it takes hard work. I meet people sometimes say, I want to have my own business. I want to be my own boss so I can sleep in. And I say, you don't even know what it's like. They say, you know what, the people ask me, what does it mean to own, you don't tell what it means to own your own business, you have to go to work when you're sick. That's all it is. You don't get a call in sick. I don't get the call in. I got to go to work, you know. I got stuff, you know, so you got to have a plan, work your plan. And somebody put on Facebook one day that entrepreneur was someone that's willing to live like nobody wants to live so they can live one day like everybody wants to live. It takes sacrifice. You know, you got to have a plan, stick to the plan, and plan to work. It doesn't happen overnight. You know, I heard somebody say one time, the harder you work, the luck you get. I don't think that's true. I know a lot of people working hard and not getting lucky. The smarter you work, the luckier you get. It takes hard work too, but hard work alone doesn't bring you results. You can work hard 18 hours a day and have 0 sales. So you got to get smarter. You got to get precise. You got to get targeted. You got to decide who am I going to work with and what am I going to do. And you have to be very precise. And like I said, don't be tempted to be the jack of all trades, because then nothing gets accomplished. Now, this last slide I added. I don't always share this because I don't want to give away this has been probably the biggest key to my personal success, is I've learned how to be a professional stalker. So I'm giving you a little tidbit here. So I hope this helps somebody. So if Sally, your next door neighbor, is having a pool party and you weren't invited, You know, all your neighbors were invited, your friends were invited. If you sit out there looking through the slats in your fence to see who's at Sally's house, that's creepy. Wouldn't you agree that's creepy? People look over, that's creepy. But look, what if you do this? What if you later go on Facebook and you look at Sally's photo album called Pool Party and download the pictures? That's socially acceptable. See, you can use social media to creep on people. So that's allowed. You just can't look through the holes in the fence, but you can look on Facebook and download the picture album. That nobody needs to know about that. And so you got to learn to be. When I talk about being precise, you have to learn how to be a professional stalker. And what's funny about it is, we are going after commercial accounts, and I target people. I'm being quite frank with you. Now, first of all, I think you should join any chamber or event. Hope, make sure you hear this now, that you want to benefit from and be a part of. Pay the membership dues and join. If nobody joins, they can't stay in business. So I'm not saying don't join, but most trade associations, most chambers, if you're not a member, you could pay a higher price, but you can go to breakfast, go to the lunch. So I subscribe to so many email lists from so many different groups. And when there's a company I want to target, and the person in that company is speaking, I go just to meet that person. They don't know that's why I'm there. So it's always funny to me, let's say if it's like Coke, or if it's a place that's well known, you go to whatever event it is, Tampa Chamber or West Shore Alliance, and everybody in the room is crowding them, giving them their card, giving their elevator speech, trying to get their ear. No, I'm fine. I just walk up, shake their hand, and leave. You know why? Because I'm going to see you next month and the month after that, too. I already know where you're going to be. I'm stalking. And so I don't try the first time I meet you. I just want you to remember me. They're like, didn't I see you last month? Yeah, you're going to see me next month, too. But you just don't know it yet. And they don't know why you're there. There's 500 people there. They can't prove you're stalking them. I'm not talking about going to their house and following them around. So let me make it clear before I get in trouble. But target, I do that. I will sometimes go to an event just for one person that I'm targeting. That's part of my target market. I want to get to them. That companies. So and with all the announcements, all these different groups, get on the email list and see what's coming up, who's speaking. That sounds interesting. Never heard of that company. I'm going to go to that just for that one reason. And they don't notice why you're there. And I've done that multiple months sometimes just to get one client. After they see you a few times, they're like, hey, good to see you again. I'm like, oh yeah, about time you noticed me. I'm just teasing. And then, LinkedIn is a good thing for businesses. There are CEOs that you'll never get to in their office because they have gatekeepers and guards for people like you to keep you out. But you have mutual friends I've requested people on LinkedIn that I can never talk to in real life. And then congratulations on this, that, and start building a relationship on LinkedIn, and then set up a meeting, That's what I love about LinkedIn. Most business people are on LinkedIn, and it's like Facebook for business owners, and you can meet people that you could never meet in real life. But they'll let you connect on social media. Secretary's not involved, and once again, relationships take time. If you think you're going to join a chamber, go to one meeting, get business, you're fooling yourself. You think you go to an event, it's part of your strategy. It takes time, but you can get yourself out there and be seen. If people don't know who you are, never see you, they don't have a chance to do business with you. I don't do a lot of residential stuff, but I think if you have residential clients, I think using social media effectively, being on the right blogs, social media and various events, different events they have in the community, just showing up, being there, and I think social media is a good way for you to meet residential customers. Because I tell you what, like even for me, if I'm going to hire a plumber in my house, I go to my local neighborhood group and say, who's ranked in there? Who has the most comments? I think, that's become the yellow pages of today is Facebook groups and next door neighborhood. That's who people use to find people. So if you're residential, you need to be involved in these different groups and social media and be known out there. And that's how you could grow your business. I mentioned already, find speaking, schedule other appearance. I know it sounds creepy. My wife sometimes be like, I can't believe you went there just for that. Yep, that's why I went. Just for that one reason, just to meet that one person one time and make sure I see him again next month too. And that's, to me, I'm really not a salesperson per se. This thing about I'm gonna overcome your objections, and I'm not a car salesman. So that's not my style. I build relationships and I bring solutions. That's it, And some people don't respond to that. Everybody's not going to be your customer. But just get out there and be involved. And then see if you have a friend or a friend that can introduce you. I'm always looking. When I look up. Now, be careful. Look up people on LinkedIn. They know you looked them up. That's kind of scary. So they're like, you're stuck. But on Facebook, I'll look up somebody on Facebook and say, oh, so-and-so knows so-and-so knows so-and-so. So I go to so-and-so. Hey, I'm trying to get in with so-and-so. Hook a brother up. What can you do? Make an introduction for me. But you'd be surprised who you know that knows people that can introduce you to people and get you inside the door. And then network everywhere and to everyone, not just at events. Now, I will tell you this, the only place off limit for me is churches. I won't go to a church. I'm a pastor also. So I won't go to, I've been tempted before to go to church to network, but it's like, okay, no, you got to draw the line somewhere. I don't want lightning to come down from heaven and strike me. But my wife gets so mad. Everywhere we go, I don't care if it's a PTA meeting, when our kids are in school, girls, I'm got business cards. I'm networking everywhere I go. I'm trying to make a connection, pass out a card, whatever I can do. Everywhere I go, I'm always networking, trying to connect with somebody. But that's, and like once you're precise, you have a target market, then you know who to stalk. Once again, don't look through their fence. I'm not telling you to do that, but we want you. So just to recap, be principled, be passionate, be professional, be prepared, be precise, and you have my permission to be a professional stalker. But I would say for me and my company, and what the Lord has allowed us to do at Integrated Security, these are the steps I took. And this is what I believe in, I'm passionate about. And you notice I didn't talk a lot about what you sell. Keep in mind, nobody, unless you're making a new Facebook, nobody cares what you sell. People were getting cameras before they met me. People were moving junk for them. People were getting data before they met you. So it's not, you don't have a new product. You don't. So if you got a brand new Facebook or some new app that nobody's ever seen, then you can stand upon your product or device. So people don't really care what you sell. They were buying it before they met you. But so I don't focus on products. I don't focus. At some point, of course, you focus on the bottom line, have to be profitable. But I focus on what our values are: being principled, be passionate about what I do. I believe in what I do and the service we provide, solutions to my customers. Always be professional. Be prepared. Be precise. Don't be all over the place. Know who you're targeting. Know what your elevator speech is. I protect people, profits, and property. That's what I do. You should know it. Your employees should know it. And then part of being precise is be that professional stalker. So I put my contact information there if anybody would like to have it. And I think I gave some of you my card, but I don't know how long I talked. Hope I didn't talk too long, but I'll stop there and maybe there's time for questions. Yep. Oh, I did good on time. Wow. Usually I talk too much. Oh, actually, that's just for fun. No, it's all one word, the eyes in the back of your head.com. It's the same website. I want that to be my website. I don't even usually put that up there. My office will be mad at me. So it's the same website. But that's one of the things, when I started my business, I bought the domain, the eyes in the back of your head.com. So that's what we do. We're the eyes in the back of your head. I meant to mention that. Thank you for pointing that out. So in order for it to work on the internet, it has to be one long word. You can't put spaces in. That's why it looks like that. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for the presentation. How did you approach that? Was it Coca-Cola first?
Yes.
Once you had that introduction, how did you turn that into an opportunity?
Well, let me tell you what happened. I saw in the Business Journal they were coming to town, so I contacted them. And my first contact, they said, hey, we want to do business with you. I had good meetings with them. The next thing I know, another company got the contract. And I called, 6 months went by, nothing happened. Then I get a phone call one day. The other company had dropped the ball, weren't responding on service calls. And now you're dealing with a multi-billion-dollar company. They said to me, we have an issue in one of our plants. People can't get in the door. We need you can you fix it for us? But there's one caveat. We can't pay you right now because we're in contract with the other company, purchasing won't approve it. So I jumped in my car, grabbed one of my techs, drove there, spent 2 days in a hotel out of my pocket. We worked like 14 hours, we fixed the problem. At that point with no money, but we gave a solution. They literally had employees, hundreds of employees couldn't get in the building because so when we fixed that, then, that led to more opportunities. So, I kept in contact with, even after they gave the contract to someone else, and then we got in, and then for a while, the other company, then after a while, they gave us the entire contract. So, but it started with an article in the Business Journal that I followed up on.
So what motivated you to start? Did you always want to be independent, or were you
Well,
just out of work? Or
what happened is I was working, if I can say the name, ADT, you've probably heard of it before, and it just got too corporate for me. It just did. I'm not a corporate guy. I'm just not one that can do something, just because you say it's done. There was a time when we had local control. We lost local control. I just was unhappy. I tell people the best sell I made in my life was convincing my wife to leave ADT and start my business. I was making the most money I ever made in our life living together. She was a stay-at-home mom. And I come home, I have this great idea. Why don't I quit my 6-figure job, start a business, and you go back to work so we can have benefits. And somehow I did it. I pulled it off, so that was the best that I've made. But I wasn't going to be happy working. I just wanted to, that customer service. I can't do what I don't believe in. I just can't. I've had to for short periods of time to keep food on the table, but long term, if I don't believe in it, I just can't do it. So that's really what drove me to launch out in the middle of a recession to start a security company, but luckily we survived.
Hi, great presentation. Just wanted to ask, what would you say your biggest challenges right now in your industry, or do you see in the future for your industry?
Well, what's happening right now in my industry is my products are becoming a commodity. That's really what the bottom line is. When I first started my business, if you wanted a camera, you had to buy it from someone like me. So I could charge you $2,000 a camera, but now you go to Sam's Club, you go to, or you go to Amazon. Even my family called me and said, hey, I want a camera. I said, listen, for what I buy it for, Sam sells it for. So first of all, we had to get out of the small business market. So the first challenge was getting out of the small business market, and then, so that's why we started going bigger accounts, because Coke's not gonna go to Sam's and buy a camera. So we started handling the enterprise level, and then now you and I, we have something in common. So now we have a second challenge. Everything's now going to IT. So now what's happening, so we survived the first challenge of do-it-yourself systems, because you're gonna put a Ring camera in your house. So I don't play in that market. Then we find a successful niche dealing with mid to large companies that are needing me because they need a professional system. Well, now we have a third challenge, is that everything now is becoming integrated in networks. I have people that work for me that are network, but then we're partnering with people like Datacom because I see that convergence coming where it's soon going to be a seamless integration with IT and security. So just keeping up with that technology and changing with that, I think, is the biggest things for us.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You do?
Okay, how were you able to use the momentum of like the RNC and get that business? And once it ended, how did you continue on with growing your business?
Well, a couple of things happened. Because we did the RNC, like there were some like National Security Magazine articles about our company. So some of it just happened organically, but we just have become very good at telling our story and the good thing about NFL or RNC, and I'll be quite frank with you, we didn't make money on the NFL contracts. We didn't do it for the money. We did it for the the recognition and so what we do is like every promotion material we do, we tell them we did this. We have a good reference from it, and so that makes people comfortable to do business with you. So some of it was organically because people know you did it. That can help attract business to you. It makes it good on your resume. Some of it was just marketing that and letting people know that's what we did. And so since we already have a target market, it just adds to our portfolio when we talk to that customer.
My name is Marisa, and it rhymes with Lisa, and I'm part of the Emotional Intelligence Through Transitioning organization. And my takeaway is definitely the passion, okay? I have had many years of information technology experience. However, emotional intelligence is now my new passion. Knowing that the way you have your passion for your clients, do the right thing, have the values, have the integrity, basically do the right thing. I mean, it just seems so simple, doesn't it? Well, emotional intelligence is my passion simply because it doesn't matter if you're in security or if you're in data, which I've spent many, many years in data. And I'm happy to say that emotional intelligence is my new passion because I got to the point where after being in a man's world for 25 years, basically information technology, I now have the passion to help other people to do their business emotionally intelligently.
Anyways, I'm Bob Lowe, and I've been independent for about 30 years, and I started for similar reasons, which is why I asked the question. Totally agree with the idea. You've got to be, all in, not side jobs, be professional. But I think my main takeaway is that your elevator pitch is about providing solutions, and not what you do.
Yeah.
And that's, after 30 years of doing this is something I learned today.
Okay.
So,
Hello, my name's Austin with College Hunks Moving. So my biggest takeaway was being the aiming and precise. I wrote down be a sniper, not a shotgun.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Because for me, and just like you said, when you first started, who's your target audience? For us, it really is everybody, because at some point in time, everyone has to move, whether it's commercial or residential. But being able to, figure out those people, who they are at that particular time, for me, generating my own self-generated leads have been kind of slow, just going randomly to storage units and, all these different realtor events and different things like that. And I haven't really gotten anywhere. But lately, and you just, kind of confirmed it, picking out. So instead of, for example, instead of me going to a realtor, just, send me your clients, I want to deal with that realtor and say, let's create a plan for you to pay for your client service so they don't have to worry about it and we can just deal with each other together, different things like that. But that was big for me, being precise and focusing more on, certain individuals versus just, again, like you said, a shotgun, a broad spectrum.
Yeah.
So.